Mr. Divakar Goyal, General Manager HR from Airports Authority of India. Mr. Sanjay Singh, Deputy General Manager NTPC. Professor V.K. Sharma, Director Training and Placement from Sharda Group of Institutions. We are awaiting the arrival of Mr. V.P. Mehta, the General Manager of MMTC, in just a short while. I would also like to invite our panelists, our participants who have come from all across North India, braving this early winter. Mr. Jagjit Singh Pawar from Acropolis Institute of Technology, Bhopal. I would request if you can just greet, if you can just stand up and others can recognize you. Ms. Manju Khatri from Dehradun Institute of Technology, Dehradun. Ms. Manisha Gupta from GNA Institute of Technology and Management, Fagwada. Mr. Ashish Mittal from SGIT, Ghaziabad. Mr. Rajendra Kumar from SGIT, Ghaziabad. Mr. S.P. Kaushik from NGF, Palwal. Ms. Deepti Sachdeva from NGF, Palwal. Mr. Pankaj Maharia from Sangam University, Bhilwara. Mr. Raman Batra from NIET, Greater Noida. Dr. Shobha Srivastav from Shivalik College, Dehradun. Mr. Urmesh Swami from Shivalik College, Dehradun. Mr. Mohammad Qasid Malik from Ambalika College, Lucknow. Mr. Puneet Garg from Ganga Institute of Technology and Management, Kablana. Dr. V.N. Bapat from Ganga Institute of Technology. Ms. Bhavna Sharma from Ramesh Institute of Engineering Technology, Greater Noida. Sorry ma'am, I just had the list. I apologize for that. Sir. Mr. Kapil Sharma from CERT, Meerut. Ms. Sonia Dhawan from Indraprastha Engineering College, Ghaziabad. And Mr. Malkait Singh Chand from Global Institute of Management and Emerging Technologies, Amritsar. So as far as Amritsar, we have got participants to be in this recruiters conclave. While admissions do constitute the bottom line for the private engineering education for the survival and sustenance, placements and recruitments do define the top line. It is the quality and quantity of the recruitments which eventually get feedback, acts as a feedback mechanism for the kind of education which is being imparted in the college. But obviously this recruitment is not just in the hands of the colleges alone. While way back in like before the advent of this Y2K bug, anyone and everyone who knew even a thread of Java was exported to the Western countries to plug in their Y2K bug. And that was a time when India's promise to deliver, India's capacities and competencies to deliver on the software front actually got noticed on the global forefront. The nuclear blast of 1999 also acted in favor of the national repute, but it was the Y2K phenomenon which actually catapulted the Indian IT might in the eyes of the global companies. We have seen a very unique phenomenon in the last decade. While there has been an unprecedented phenomenal growth of engineering colleges in the country, now in 4,500 colleges we have 14.54 lakh engineering seats installed. On the same thing, the economy has been going on a kind of a course correction, like the recent recession of 2008 which we had, and the current US fiscal cliff and the rise of the nationalistic concerns there affecting the outsourcing business in a big way. So there has been this twin phenomena of rising number of engineering students with lesser differentiators. You can't differentiate very much amongst this huge bulk of students on a general plane. And the going down of economy, I would rather say it's a course correction where the model of ultra outsourcing, ki one lace will be produced in one country and it will be assimilated elsewhere. Even the Foxpan, the company which used to be assemble Apple, it had to close down its massive industrial units in China recently. So lot of course correction is happening. So this all calls for a kind of a informed deliberation and a interaction with all these stakeholders, that it is not a situation to panic, it's just to re-strategize, reorganize and understand the various opportunities which this course correction is actually opening up. So all the established norms and rules which got, all the practices, all the stereotypes which we have got evolved in the last decade probably need to be rethought and revisited. That is what the call has happened. And one other, because of this shrinking of the employment opportunities, established employment opportunities, I would rather say, that everyone and anyone who is becoming an IT engineer aspires to be Infoscion or a TCS or the Wipro. These are 4-5 dreams of him without even thinking of other avenues which are available in bulk. A lot of malpractices have also got evolved to take a pie in this limited space. And because of this advent of malpractices, there was a very elaborate story in the Business Today magazine a couple of months back, which unraveled that how the happy nexus and how these innovative practices between are evolving and mushrooming because of all these problems. So amidst this scenario, we thought, why not have an informed deliberation which can give a wider perspective and which can help the training and placement officers across these colleges, which are one of the finest, Lord's finest talent from the industry, from academia, to actually plan and educate the students at large as to how they can plan and think of their career. I remember my pre-placement talk which was given by my training and placement of in charge, Professor Bhaskaran at IIT Kharagpur, that 25 paisa idhar and 25 paisa there should not determine your career. You should plan your career for 30 years because the age when you retire and when you look back, you should be contented. Oh, I did something meaningful, something worthwhile. So that is a kind of a greater role which we see, which we feel that training and placement officers, which really form a big and a very, very strong pillar of any academic institution, apart from other functionaries in any college. So they have to be the real educators to give a balance between the expectations and aspirations of the students, and while also telling them about the existential realities which do exist. We should not get swayed by the 1 CR or 70 lakh packages being offered by some social networking sites or some of the investment banking firms. Now these are, even in the top-notch institutions, these are just handful of the incidents which do happen. But since this is being projected in a very, very big manner by the headlines of all the media bites, and then they are taken by the students. So we have some misplaced aspirations as well, and that creates tremendous pressure, and which just cannot be yielded. So considering the same, we thought of conceiving this recruiters conclave, whereby we wanted to invite the stakeholders from all the sectors, government and PSUs, for example. PSUs are the core of the Indian economy. They contribute more than 1/3 of the government of India revenues. And honestly speaking, they are the ones who do offer the real engineering jobs probably in this country, where all our other soft collar jobs and all, they are just doing the back end outsourcing work or things like that. But the core technology, power, mining, you set the sector where the engineering talent is required. That is where the PSUs do come in. So we thought of inviting leaders from the PSU to give a perspective about their experience, how they started their career. Job security is one aspect of it, but apart from that, the kind of challenges they really got in their life and the kind of growth opportunities which they saw. And it's a weighted average. It's not just the packages by which a job is actually seen, and it should be governed across. Then we have a humongous opportunity in the MSMEs, micro, small and medium enterprises, and the startups which are blossoming in this country. Terrific opportunities. We just have put our blinders against that. In fact, Sharda Institute, we have Professor Sharma over here. Sharda had experimented this model in a very beautiful and a very innovative fashion, where they had mapped the industrial clusters around Agra and Mathura, where they are established, and how the summer training of the MBAs and the final year students, it was all strategized, planned. That's the kind of innovation actually what is required today to get along with this problem of gainfully employing this 14 lakh or 10 lakh odd students who would be graduating every year. So this creative demographic dividend, if we have to reap it, I think more than Dr. Tharoor and Dr. Raju, the role and responsibility is on you, the participants, the training and placement officers who are sitting in this room, because you are the ones who are closer to the grounds. The infrastructural availabilities are there on the campus. They can be linked up. So in order to evoke all these discussions, that is the agenda of today's recruitment conclave, which we have today. So without losing any further time, I would invite Professor Kak, who is really a visionary doer. People have been visionaries, but no action. But he has a unique combination of that vision and action. And his dynamism sometimes inspires all of us. We guys of 30 years of age, when we feel low, we just see the dynamism in him. So I would invite him to give his keynote address, setting the tone and tenor of today's deliberations. I would invite Professor Kak. Thank you.